I guess, do you have any opinion or advice on dealing with when other people around you are being very like negative or imposter-y, and how do you sort of deal with that without, because I guess in one sense you could like sympathize with that and then like feel like an imposter yourself, or... So
if people around me are suffering from imposter complex and talk to me about it, or, I mean, it happens almost every day. You know, and it's amazing, and it's almost like, and it happens often amongst women faculty, and they'll get some award and they'll say, oh my God, I can't, it's ridiculous. Okay, they'll say to me, I don't deserve this, and I'll say, well, I don't deserve this. They'll say, of course you deserve that, and then I'll say, well, of course you deserve that, and then it's just like this, and then hopefully I can say, we sound ridiculous, and then and that goes away. So what I really do think everyone has to come up with their own strategies. The one that works most effectively for me is the anger one, so which is they don't think I can do this, and therefore I will. And I think as you get older, you realize how many people don't think they're good enough. That everyone has this iconic image of the scientist as someone who has been doing this since they were 5 years old, and that's all they think about. And they're somewhere between Leonardo da Vinci and Einstein, right? All the time, super creative, and super focused. And some people are like that. And I think the thing that is so great about Indira's article, because I'm just going to go back to it because I just think it's so important. Sorry, I didn't realize I'd gone back to, is this idea that the truth is in the distribution. So there is going to be someone, it's not just gender, it's not just race, it's height. It's how squeaky your voice is. It's a million things, right, that people are really self-conscious about. And it's, wow, I went skiing this weekend instead of worked. It's, I'd rather be in the mountains than be in lab. It's like this entire, and the idea is that there is this huge distribution of scientists. And although you can always find someone who's maybe knows more math than you, or who knows more biology than you, or who is more focused than you, you're never going to find anyone who's exactly like you. You're a point in this distribution. And just, I don't know how to say this, I guess find that point and be comfortable with it. And that's kind of what I try to tell other people, is to find your point, and you're very good at this, and you're very good at that, and maybe you're not so good at that, but that's okay, right? We just have to absorb the accomplishments and just get past the negative things. But it can be hard. And it can be hard, like even when the most famous people suffer from it. The people that you would not expect it. But maybe it makes our science better. I don't know.
Any more questions?
Yes. So, what if people have the insecurities and the imposter syndrome, but they respond to it by making it everybody else's problem? Like they really project that negativity on everybody around them.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
I have to say, I think I know what you mean. I don't exactly know what you mean, but I think I know what you mean. I am a physicist, so I'm not really good at human emotion. But I do, and so if I get this wrong, let me know. But it's, one of the things I find difficulty with students now, I would say, is that a lot of times when they feel like they don't fit in, right, they say it's the system's problem and not them, right? So they're fine, but it's the system that is not accommodating them. And I don't know how to, this is just a case where we're all the product, I studied development, we're all the product of the environment that we grew up in, and I can't comprehend that, right? So it's funny, there's a friend of mine from graduate school here, and he can attest to this, but you didn't really call professors by their first name. You didn't, no, you were there to prove yourself all the time, right? It was just this environment where like, you could have whatever hell you're going through, but to the powers that be, they don't care. They would never meet you halfway on anything, right? It was all about you trying to achieve their goals. And I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying that's what I grew up in. And so I don't understand when people blame the system and not themselves. It takes me a while to understand. Is that what you mean? Or like...
It's more of an interpersonal thing. Like sometimes people can be really happy and insecure about whatever reason.
Yeah.
Maybe their work isn't working out.
Right.
But they...
So give me an example. What would they do that would be a negative?
they would start just picking out people and just giving them reasons to feel like an imposter, or to tell them, oh, you're here because you're a woman.
Yeah.
Or you got this award because you're a woman. And I didn't get it because...
Yeah. And that's happened to me many times. You know, and so there's a part of me that says, oh my God, they're right. And there's another part of me that says, oh my God, what an asshole. So so I try to let the second one win, you know. So, but it's there. I internalize it, and it's there, and I just try to move on. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's a really hard thing to answer for anyone else, but I think you just have to know that people are not say mean things, and it's all about them and not about you, and all these things that you read about. But I don't really understand. I'm sorry.
I just have to say, this is brilliant, this page.
Yeah.
For the imposter people. And
Yeah.
your next profession should be psychology.
Really, no. My lab is here, and you don't know how painful this was for me to write this. I could not do this as a life. Someone asked me about my data, please. Yeah. Yes, Mark.
How important is finding mentors or people you can trust to talk to help you process whether a given field is for you? Because presumably there are people who try something and it isn't really,
Right.
and they should try something else.
Right.
So how do you distinguish between, I should keep faking it till I make it,
Yeah.
or maybe they should try something else?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I don't know how to advise people on that. I mean, all we have are our own experiences, and I'm sure every student here who's asked for advice has only heard about that professor's experience, because that's all we can ever give them, right? So I think you just have to you have to separate what you're trying to prove for someone else, what you're trying to prove for yourself, whether you're enjoying it. But there's never been a doubt in my mind that I wanted to do science. I mean, I thought that I was going to get fired at any given moment, for doing it. But there was no way I was going to stop until they fire me, because it's really the only thing I enjoy doing. But it's a privilege to do, and so again, it all depends on your background. I come from this working class family, if I lose my NIH grant, I'll go work at McDonald's, whatever. As long as I can put food on the table, I won't work at McDonald's. But I have worked at McDonald's. It's horrible. But it just depends where your priorities are. But I grew up in a family where people didn't like their jobs, right? You do jobs because you have to put food on the table, and that's something I understand. But I would not stay in doing science if you don't enjoy it. And I think that and it's okay. And I think it's okay to not enjoy science, and that's not insulting to me when someone tells me that. It's not insulting to anyone who's doing science. And so I think you should admit that it's a lot of work for small gains that very few people read about, right? You have to enjoy the process. I mean, I think you have to see yourself in a bigger light. You have to see that your research is part of a greater body. But what you do every day may not have big enough impact, and that could be some things that drive people away. I mean, I don't know, but I just love the process. And so, like I said, it feels like a luxury to get to do it as long as I have.
For the sake of time, I think we'll
Sorry.
move to the next. No worries.